Well, let's try and bring you more now on the McCanns' decision to launch an ad campaign to help find Madeleine. Joining us now from his home in Hertfordshire is a communications consultant, Mark Jeffries. Mark, it's great to speak to you here on Sky News tonight. And what are your thoughts on the McCanns' latest push to try to remind people that Madeleine is still missing?
Well, it makes a lot of sense because what's happened, of course, over the last 10 days or so is that the story has, in essence, totally changed. The story was all about Maddie, trying to find her and trying to get her back to her family. The story now, of course, is completely different, and it's all focus on the parents. So a good PR campaign at this point, if this is what they choose to employ, has to retake the initiative and has to change the story back to where it should be, which is the search for Maddie.
Just listening to Gerry McCann's brother in that report, he said that this would help remind everyone that Madeleine is still missing. Do you think that the public are forgetting that fact now?
I think what's happening is the story is being clouded so much now by the speculation over Maddie's parents. And it's interesting, if you think about the role of a good PR company, which, by the way, is not cheap. PR is very expensive, of course. A good PR company has two roles. Either they get you in the news, they get your brand and your product in the news, or they keep you out of the news. And I suspect what's going to happen now is that the PR organisation is going to have one sole focus in mind. It's getting the parents out of the news and getting Maddie back in again.
And this must be very difficult for the McCanns because, of course, that they are still trying to campaign to raise awareness, to remind people that their little girl is missing. But they're also now embarking on a very serious legal case now to potentially try and clear their names.
Well, this is it. Of course, everything is still up in the air and there is so much speculation and the details of the story seem to change every single day. But yes, they have two major efforts going on at the same time. And if I understand it right, of course, they can't use the Maddie Fund itself to fund any personal PR campaign. And it's very hard now for them to draw the line between what they spend on Maddie and what they spend on themselves. And also, if a PR campaign starts to come out that makes them look fantastic and wonderful, some people may see it as really very cynical effort. So there's a very fine line for them to tread, and every day from now on will be an extreme challenge for them.
They've had to become incredibly media savvy very quickly, and of course in the worst possible of circumstances. Have you ever seen anything like this before?
I think it's extremely rare where you see, frankly, normal people from a normal family who've just gone on holiday suddenly being thrust into the global spotlight. I myself was in the United States last week, and on their network news programs, this story leads. And it's very rare, especially in the US, that they will lead with a foreign story that doesn't directly affect the United States itself. So it's a big story, it's big news, and they have to become very media savvy all the way through this. But of course, because of Portuguese law, they can't speak too openly about it. Now it's all about the spokespeople, the PR people, and the friends of family.
And you're an expert in this field as well, Mark. What advice would you offer them if they're watching tonight?
I think at this moment, sometimes you have to draw back from the public spotlight. This is very difficult because what we've seen here is mud has been thrown. That's simply what's happened. We do not know, we cannot even speculate whether it's true or whether it's not. But because mud has been thrown, people's minds have started to turn. So what do you do in this situation? I think personally you start stepping back. The more you come out, the more you try and say, this is not the case. People start to doubt you even more. So perhaps a little bit less focus on the parents and now a lot of focus on Maddie.
How hard is it, though, to step back when you have, I don't know, 10, 20 journalists camped outside your door every day?
It's impossible, and I can't even imagine for a second what life is like for those people. But at the moment, they just have to stay indoors every time they come out. And of course, we know what it's like because we have the connection to the media. There'll be questions, there'll be flashing light bulbs, there'll be the paparazzi effect, and it's frightening and it's very intimidating. So they have to stay away. When they're ready to say something that actually will count, that matters, and that has some meat to it, then they can come out, they can speak their minds, and then they've got to get back in again, because until this is resolved, the press aren't going anywhere.
OK, Mark, for now, thank you very much. Communications consultant Mark Jeffries joining us there.